Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Give a few moments for some people to join in. Excuse me, and get this link shared. Before this is all said and done, I might be suspended from Twitter. But it's been an interesting day. You know, from time to time, I feel like it's once more time to go into enter the breach, right? Especially when we're dealing with social media and censorship. A few things I actually want to show you today. A few articles and stuff. One article dealing with a federal judge in California ruling that Twitter can actually be sued for false advertising free speech. I'll read the article to you here in a little bit. But the part that's really got me going, we do get a lot of news from different people. And people are always getting caught up in the censorship, getting suspended, shadow banned on all the platforms, just not one. And lo and behold, I follow Breaking 911. I also, got their website bookmarked and get push notifications from their website, just because earlier this year they were suspended, and periodically they get shadow banned. Well, caught a notification. In fact, I'll show you. I've got it in my Twitter feed right now. Breaking 911. This is their. See, I've been subscribed. When it first happened, I subscribed to their alternative, their backup account. The following account, they have been suspended for no reason at all. There was no reason given why they suspended them. But it goes one step farther than this, and this is the part that pisses me off about Twitter. Not only are they messing with breaking 911, they're also not allowing us to share a post from there because the account's suspended. Breaking 911 is, they do good stuff. They report things, they make corrections when they make a mistake. And I'll show you here in a second. Take a little bit for the page to load. Exactly what I'm getting at. Now, some people first might see this when it pops up, that it's their account suspended. Nope, it's not. It's not your account, don't worry. It's actually them blocking the share function on here. But do bear with me. Page is loading slow. We've got weather in the area, so my internet's probably going to run sluggish. And not to mention, I am muted. All right, I don't. And the glitches are starting. All right, looks like I'm coming through now. I don't know how much of you guys caught or missed. Seems like I'm having audio issues. Funny, I always have this issue when I talk about certain things. But okay, looks like it's working now. But I'll just repeat myself just in case it didn't come through. That's the part that kind of sucks. I actually got to make sure that I keep my Hangout window up front so I can see and make sure that my sound ain't being cut out. It's not freezing up. Once more, censorship at its finest, manipulation at its finest. But as you guys can see here, we have these icons. These are the share buttons. We all know what they are, right? Well, watch what happens when I click the Twitter. Unless they fixed it. What? Account suspended. That's odd. But I already know it's not my account. Because, as we see here, this could get scary. Just go to my notifications. Suspended. Right? Huh. Oh, never mind. Let me back this up. I forgot I gotta stop sharing and reshare the new window. Okay. As you can see, account suspended. But I know it's not mine. So when I click the notification tab, as you guys can see, which I hope you guys can see. It takes me right to my stuff. But when I click on the share button to share this, they want to censor them even farther. To the point where, you got to copy the link from the URL, paste it in to share their stuff. They're forcing Breaking 911 to go in their settings and change the URL for the share. But this is BS. We all know it, because let's think about this. I'm clicking a share button. This share button, show another. Let me share to Facebook. All right. Let me reshare this. As you guys can see, I'm fully able to share and post to Facebook. Not a problem. Why? It's actually quite simple. When we share things and use the social media share buttons, they're tied into our information. That's why when I hit the Twitter share button, it is actually Twitter blocking it. They're blocking everything comes off this website, which is BS. If I was breaking 911, I'd actually sue Twitter. Somebody say, oh, you can't do that. Well, thanks to a California federal judge, yes, you can. The link's in the description, but I will read it. Because we all know how the censorship game goes. Oh, you're showing this page, it's got these images on. I mean, they can nail you for anything for censorship. They're quite good at it. A California judge rules Twitter can be sued for falsely advertising free speech. Yes, that's right, guys. They are in a breach of a contract. The contract that when we joined on their base advertisement on their motto of free speech, and they're violating it. What this has to do with, now see, but here's where it's going to turn people off, all those judgmental people out there, because of who took them to court. A California judge has ruled that Twitter's policy of banning users at any time for any reason, for no reason, or for no reason, may constitute an unconsolable contract, and that a lawsuit against the company brought by self-described white advocate Jared Taylor may proceed on that bias. Now, most people are going to say, oh, he's a white nationalist, white supremacist, whatever. They're going to jump on the label games and ignore this. Who cares? Who cares what he is, what the label is? The fact is, it is now in documentation by a judge. It is now, any one of us can refer to this case and cite this case in a court of law. That's how it works. Let's go on to read. The judge rejected Twitter's motion to dismiss the lawsuit from Taylor, who was banned by the platform in December last year. In particular, Twitter's argument that it has a First Amendment right to ban whoever it likes from its platform for whatever reason was rejected. Well, let's talk about some bias. Let's talk about being hypocritical. Yes, Twitter, you're very hypocritical, and many of you other social media platforms are just as biased and just as hypocritical. when you promote that we can have our freedom of expression. Or this goes back to what I've been saying, that the Constitution, because you have this belief, this opinion doesn't apply to you. But when you want to win a lawsuit or have a case thrown out, now it applies to you. It's our constitutional right. Yeah, he has that person that's suing you has every constitutional right to express himself as well, whether you like what he's saying or she's saying or not. Our Supreme Court's been very, and this goes out to Top Buzz, that you're going to hit me for being vulgar when I haven't even dropped a single F word yet. Go fuck yourself. Now you can reject my video. But the Supreme Court has clearly ruled on hate speech in the past. I can say what the fuck I want. Not considered hate speech. Hate speech is protected under the Constitution. All speech is protected under the Constitution. I might not like the hate speech, but that's on me. That's on me not to listen. That's on me to turn it off. Walk away. Because that person has every right to have his own opinions and views. But continuing on, the judge ruled that Twitter's belief that it had a right to ban users at any time for any reason or no reason could be a legal, unconscionable policy on the company's part. The judge also ruled that Twitter could be sued on the bias of misleading its users due to the platform's promise. Frequently expressed, frequently violated, not to ban accounts on the bias of viewpoint or political affiliation. This ruling has massive implications for the platform going forward, said Noah Peters, Jared Taylor's lawyer. This is the first time that a social media company's argument that it can censor user speech has been rejected by a court. Taylor describes himself as a race realist and has defended white supremacy, claiming that races are not equal, but his attorney says the trial is not about the client's particular views. No, and it's actually not about his views. It's his ability under the Constitution to express his views, to be able to talk about his views and opinions. We might not agree with his views and opinions, but he has that right and is protected under the Constitution. You guys need to understand that and quit being some whiny ass, sensitive babies, because that's what you're acting like. You know, this whole thing, this whole concept of censorship is BS. And it's time that these corporations are held accountable. I think it's funny that any other country can enforce their laws on these platforms, and these platforms jump through hoops to obey them. But when it comes to our laws, our Constitution, they say, fuck us. Like we don't have any rights. Our country don't matter. Well, guess what? Many of these social platforms, media platforms, and corporations are based right here in the United States. Maybe we should tell them, well, you don't like it, get out. And it's time that people pay attention to this lawsuit very close, this whole court proceeding right here very carefully, because now every one of us has the right and the legal grounds to sue Twitter, Facebook, anybody that claims to protect free speech. You want to hurt these social media corporations that have monopolies on things? Start hurting them where it counts. Take them to court and sue their asses off. Then maybe they'll get the point. But the point should be addressed one step farther. Our Congress, instead of telling these platforms to censor people, I bring up the videos on that one for those that missed that hearing. How we had senators telling the executives of Twitter, Facebook, and all them that you can't allow that content to be spread. You need to censor them. You need to take it down. It shouldn't be trending. And to the senators that said that, you should be removed for office for violating ethics, violating the very oath you take. But they claim it under, oh, this false news, it's propaganda, it doesn't matter. It's free speech. Our lawsuit is not about whether Taylor is right or wrong, Peter said in February. It's about whether Twitter and other technology companies had the right to ban individuals from using their services based on their perceived viewpoints and affiliations. Twitter is one of the worst offenders in big tech when it comes to censoring conservative accounts. And I've talked about this. It's just not conservatives that are being censored. In fact, I just showed you Breaking 911 is not conservative. But yet, for no reason, they get censored for reporting news. News that sometimes go against the status quo. You know, if you are a journalist, if you are a news anchor, reporter, your job is not to be biased. Your job is to be neutral. Your job is to report all sides of the story without your views and opinions. Your job is to get to the root of the truth, putting your opinions and views and beliefs aside. That is a job of a journalist, an investigative reporter. That is actually a job of our lawyers and judges and police officers. They're not to be biased. They're not to take political stances and make their rulings based on politics. Their job is to be neutral and adhere to the laws of the land, to adhere to constitution matters, to adhere to federal and state laws. Not because I'm a Democrat, I don't like what this president's doing. So I'm going to violate the Constitution and say, oh, you don't have a right to make that law, when the Supreme Court said time and time again, he has that right. Now, like I said, this is happening in California, so I'm amazed. And we also know about the other ruling where a federal judge in California, I think it's the same lawyer, same judge actually, has, said that, well, Trump can't ban people. What? Okay, he can't ban people. Let's get this straight. Or block, not ban. Let me rephrase. My bad. Can't block people. Let me jump over here so I can actually see if anybody's in the chat room. So Trump, they made a ruling that said Trump can't block people. Okay. Then if they can't block, someone can't block somebody because, political views or beliefs, or I just don't like the person. The person's trolling me, thus not. Basically, they told the president, federal judge said you can't block them. It's unconstitutional. Well, guess what? Blocking is no different in verbiage and language and as banning. So if blocking is unconstitutional, so is blocking, because the verbiage is pretty much the same. Interesting, right? How that works? Twitter is one of the worst offenders in big tech. Okay, I read that part. Leading voices on the right, like Islam critic Tommy Robinson, has been banned from the platform merely for pointing out facts. Twitter employees have also been caught on camera boasting about their actions to keep conservatives and Trump supporters off the platform. Anybody paid followed the Project Veritas when they were doing investigative reporting on social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, including newsrooms such as CNN and a few others. You know, all that stuff they caught on video, these people saying. One employee discussed shadow banning political accounts, a practice that Twitter has continually denied using, while another claimed that accounts that expressed an interest in God, guns, and America were likely to be flagged as bots. Well, let's remember this year when Twitter got me. Said I had suspicious activity going on. And they were right. There was suspicious activity going on in my account. It took me a little bit to find it and figure out what was going on. But somebody had shared a link. Shared a tweet, retweeted it, and I clicked on it. Well, it was a video. It took you to a off-site that was by Twitter, and you had to give Twitter authorization before you could watch the video. Well, what I didn't know, as I went back and checked in my apps and stuff of things that I have authorized, there was multiple authorizations to this page, and it was posting stuff on my behalf. But the app belonged to Twitter. Now I've got that well documented in a video, and what they were doing, they were using that to suspend people and claim they were bots. But it was their own software program that was creating the suspicious activity. In fact, since I'm talking about it, let me go back and find that video and put the link in the chat. Yes, right here's the video. Of course, conveniently, I'm pretty sure I had some technical glitches on this one. But I break down and show how they use that app to cause our accounts to have suspicious activity. We all know it's happening everywhere, just like I mentioned Top Buzz. Because I've got my YouTube channel and my Wordpress channel synced into Top Buzz, so I don't have to go there and download anything or upload anything. It just, once the video's done, it goes there and it waits for approval. And I've noticed a few videos that I've been rejected because of vulgar language. And one of the videos in particular had no vulgar language in it. I went back and rewatched it. I'm like, I didn't cuss in that. I didn't even say the word shit in that video. But it rejected for vulgar language. when I have the right to say whatever I want. If you take an offense to it, I'm sorry. I am going to cuss from time to time. I try not to. I try to be nice, courteous, and respectful to the audience because that's just who I am, you know. And, I have a huge vocabulary at my disposal. Why use words that don't need to be used? There's a time and place for everything. Today's one of those times and places where maybe the F word's deserved. There's a time and place how to vocalize things, how to bring things to people's attention, how to make them wake up. Sometimes you need the foul language just to wake somebody up, to rattle their senses a little bit. Of all these social media platforms. Been on them all. And, I've showed them time and time again. We all are fans of the minds, but you do know minds have the ability to reject your content. It hasn't happened to me yet. I haven't seen it happen, but it has the ability for you to flag things, report things. Then they'll make a decision of whether it is appropriate or it needs to be removed. In fact, I know some people think I'm lying about this. What am I looking for? Nine months ago, they got caught. Let's see if I can find the actual video. I think it was this one, yeah. It was one of these, but you guys type this in and go through these videos. You'll come across this one. Somebody posted something on there, and it was, even my personal opinion, distasteful. Because somebody put something back when uh Charlotte thing happened in Charlottesville. Somebody posted an image with the tagline referring to fat people. Basically, it was distasteful. But Gab had asked them to take it down and remove it. If not, they would remove it or suspend them off Gab. And they pushed the issue. Come to find out, because Gab is based on a hosting server, and the hosting server gave Gab 48 hours to remove the user from their platform, or the hosting provider would terminate their service with Gab. So therefore, GAB complied. See, that's the problem, guys. I don't think a lot of people understand this. That when you're dealing with creating websites, creating social platforms, I hear people, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else. It's all fine and dandy, but they all have to do it. They all have their own way of dealing things. People that start up want to start up and build their own. Well, to start off, I mean, I know I've done it. You have to have a financer, a backer, because it takes money. Then you got to be able to market, do a bunch of stuff, PR, stuff that I'm not good at. I mean, I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not a social person. I mean, I have my own philosophies and beliefs, and that was kind of the downfall of the project I was working on. Is I believe in quality over quantity. I believe not just letting anybody and everybody into my circle in my life. You know, and when you're promoting websites and stuff like that, you have to socialize. You have to reach out and network. And I was never that good at it. I mean, you ask some of my friends, I'm the quiet guy in the bunch, which, yeah, hard to believe, right? But what I learned from sitting in meetings with lawyers and executives, because I was the creator and the tech of the platforms, and they wanted to make sure where all the money was going, that was being done right, that I understood all the rules, the laws, the bylaws, and they wanted to make sure I also fully understood, because we didn't have our own server. We were using a social or using a hosting provider and using their server, even though we was using our own software, our own programs, that we were still had to abide by their TOS, their policies. Because there were some questions about, because we were doing the same thing. We wanted free speech. We wanted people to be able to have a place to go and be able to do what they wanted, post what they wanted. We had a couple rules. You better, no child pornography, stuff like that, you know, but give the people an ability to be able to have that. And I quickly found out that the idea in itself is a great idea. But till you own your own server, which is not cheap, it's 10K. It's just for the basic bare minimum server, it's 10K. I know. I had to go through all those talks and how many we need and the techs and stuff. I had to have tech there 24 hours on shifts and stuff. All, yeah, fun stuff. Let me tell you. Then I later started finding out how the server game works. Well, the server game is you still can be bullied. I mean, they can tie you up in court and bankrupt you, bullied, if they want to suppress you and shut you down. So the concept and the idea of going wherever you want doesn't exist. I still support the concept, as you guys seen, as I'll show you right now. I support this idea. I support this, and any young entrepreneur or older entrepreneur that wants to do this, this is what's needed. More and more of this is what's needed. What I'm showing you is a new social platform that's being created and designed for all of us, to where we can have our opinions and views and not worry about censorship. Worldlie.com. Like I've stated earlier, yesterday, later this week, I'll have the founder and CEO, Christina Taft, on, and I'll let her walk you through the site, showing you it. I mean, it's still being developed, but it needs people on it to be testing things, finding out where some of the bugs are so the developer can fix the bugs so we can get more feedback to her to get this platform how we want it. She's got some great ideas, great things that she wants to do. And she's young. She has the same views and opinions that so many of us. She wants those freedoms that we all love and we expect to have on a social platform. I mean, does it have all the bells and whistles yet? No, because it takes time, it takes money, it takes backers. I understand that and know that because I had my backer. And I know how much money that was spent, how much money was spent every month just for the storage that we had to buy, because we had to buy extra storage on a virtual server to accommodate bandwidth and stuff. So it ran smoothly fast. So when you uploaded a video, it didn't take an hour. It took 15 minutes for an HD video. We were paying for that while we were developing it. So I know all the headaches and aggravation that goes in creating a platform. I know it on the coding side as well, the technical side, as well as having to set in meetings and listen to lawyers and executives about how money is being spent, what needs to be done, the rules, the regulations, the laws that you have to consider. And that's just considering what's here in the United States, because then you got to deal with laws that are outside the country. It's a people that do this, I have the utmost respect for. Been there, done that, and don't want to do it again. At least not doing almost all of it on my own. But where did I fall? What was my downfall? Well, one, I was right as had everything set up, almost ready to fully launch. I went down to North Carolina for ended up being down there for a couple years, and well, living up on a mountain, nah, not so much good internet connection. But we failed because none of us are marketers. None of us knew how to market. This is marketing right here, guys. Word of mouth. Me sharing this, showing this, giving you the link, talking about it. Is it fully running perfect? No, it's in development. But even in development, it needs people's feedback. That's what I actually quite admire about Christina Taft, is she takes the feedback. She takes the criticism and she turns it over to her developers and makes the improvements. She listens. None of these other platforms listen to us. They don't care. This is the type of stuff that we need to see more of. These are the types of talks we need to be having when it comes to the censorship. When it comes to people wanting to control things, control our opinions and views. There's no room for that in this day of age. There's no room for people to be claiming, oh, this is a free speech platform, but yet I'm going to shadow ban you. I'm going to play with your analytics. I'm going to play with where your stuff shows up in people's feeds, and it's happening on every platform. I'm being nice. I'm not naming all the platforms. I've heard people talking about it's happening on adult platforms. I'm like, really? Who would have thought, right? People are paying for premium membership. that do videos, but their stuff's not getting featured. They're being pushed back. It's happening everywhere, and that's the craziest part. We pick up on a label, oh, it's only happening to conservatives. No, it's happening to everyone and everywhere. Just not the known, because when I first started on social media platforms, started building websites and learning how to build websites, I wasn't on the major social platforms. I was on platforms like Ning, Spurts. I got to learn firsthand how censorship goes, how they treated people with different beliefs. I also got to learn the legalities of a few things when it comes to don't take screenshots of certain things. You report it. You give them the link, and if the platform doesn't do their job, then they report it to the proper authorities. In fact, as soon as you report it to the platform, you should be reporting it to the proper authorities. There was 5 of us that were involved in that little scenario because we knew the rules. You don't take screenshots of that. And we pointed it out to Ning at the time. It was different ownership than it's under now. And because we liked one of their features. One of their features was anybody that joined Ning got a profile on Ning. So you could see when a person joined your site, you could see what other sites they were on Ning. You could see, you were able to vet your members. And we came across a 9-year-old kid on an adult platform. And when we reported it, they blew us off. So we ended up reporting it to the FBI. Well, their answer to that is, if you pursue this any farther, we will permanently ban you from our platform. Basically, cease and desist. Well, then what they did is they removed that whole part of their platform to where you couldn't see and look at members. Because, in their eyes was, oh, we don't have adult content. We don't allow it. In reality, they allowed it, but you had to be a premium member. You had to pay for it. We all knew it. They wouldn't mess with the guys that paid. They'd only mess with the ones that was using the free service or the lower membership, the ones that weren't paying for the premium. It got to the point where they were even going after, it went from images to now then they started going after posts that they didn't agree with. The censorship game isn't new. It's happened on every social media platform. Ning and Spurts, those were the beta tests for what we're seeing going on right now. And it doesn't help when we have congressmen encouraging platforms like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google to censor people. Me and my friend joke. When I told him, I'm like, yeah, I got 46 subscribers, and thank you guys. We joke. He's like, well, I thought you had more than that. I'm like, no. I'm like, my average video I do gets 12 to 17 views, if that. Some don't even get that. Some barely break 4. But yet I know better. I've done videos on that. I can go over to mine and show you videos that's got over 3,000 views. Now I use the tools at my disposal. All these social media platforms are a tool. One censors me, okay. I'm still getting the message out. I'm still posting it on all the social media platforms. I even started using Stumble again. Stumble upon, for those ain't hip, use it. The videos, and I did a little experiment. I'll show that in a couple weeks when I finish up with it. The videos that I have put on Stumble upon have more views than my normal videos that I don't share to Stumble upon. And it's, as the title suggests, that's what it is. People just click, and they stumble across things on how their tags are put in and their favorite searches. It's a tool, much like Top Buzz is a tool. Facebook is a tool. Yes, I spend most of my time in timeout on Facebook. And it shouldn't be like that. You know, to me, I'm beginning to think these social media platforms, they want to just get it down to where it's one label, one minded label that don't question anything, that believes everything they say. And if that's what you want to do, then promote your site that way. Don't promote it as a free speech network. Don't promote it as anything else. Then again, don't think somebody might not come around and try to sue you for it, for discrimination, because that's what you'd be doing. You'd be discriminating against other people's views and opinions and beliefs. Why are we stuck in this stupid paradigm? Well, some of it has to do with the fact, we have politicians that are demanding that it be done. All the name, it's you're unsafe for the social platform, or you're influencing media. How am I influencing anything? I have a view and an opinion. What? Some people might agree with some of my views and opinions. Others are going to disagree. And that's cool to disagree. I like that. Some are going to get offended. Hey, don't know what to tell you. Don't ask me for a quarter. But you can definitely go call somebody else that cares. I ain't giving you a quarter because your feelings got hurt. That's the problem. Somebody's feelings got hurt. Oh, I'm going to report this video. Oh, I'm going to report them because he said something I don't like. Right? Okay. Let's go back to the word banning and block. Haha, yeah, see where I'm going with this? Thanks to this judge, well, you didn't like my content, so you're going to what? Report me? Well, that's the same thing as banning and blocking me or shadow banning me. As long as I don't violate the laws, I've done nothing wrong. As long as I do and adhere to some of the terms of services, I've done nothing wrong. But I know the terms of service game better than most. Why? I had to write my own. I had to get set with lawyers for hours on end, arguing the legal wordage and verbiage of things, the loopholes. All a TOS is, for those that know the term, it's nothing but a lemon law. It's actually worse than the lemon law. It's left for interpretation. Just like people, I'm going to delete Facebook. I'm going to delete Instagram. But yet, Newsflash, guys. As we go back to the Breaking 911 page I showed you, those social media share buttons, guess what? That's a third-party app. It's under their third-party app. So therefore, you've given consent to that website, that platform, to access your website, all under the name of maintenance, updating, making sure that everything's running right. But by allowing that app on your platform, you are now bound to that platform's TOS under their third-party clause. You have given consent when you create a page, a profile, anywhere. You've given consent. You know, this day and age where I don't consent, that's an illusion. When you buy your cell phone, when you turn it on and you hit accept, you just hit accept and consented. When you get your new computer, run through the installations, you just accepted. There's no such thing as we do not consent. If you don't consent, throw your computer, your TV, your cell phone, and any electronic device that is connected to the internet in the trash. Then you do not consent because you do not own a single device that can access the internet. Oh, wait. Cars are coming out now where you got satellites, radio, internet radio with the apps and stuff. Damn, you just bought a car, so therefore you just consented. Of course, you could yank that stuff out and not consent. You know, most people don't got time to sit through and read the terms of service, read the fine print, then think about and question, okay, how can this be interpreted? And when you start doing that, you start realizing, wow, this thing is left up, it's so vague, it's left up for interpretation. It can be interpreted any way. And that's how they play this little game. To where they can go in a courtroom and basically say, oh, they don't have no rights. Thankfully, we had a federal judge in California say, well, you're false advertising then. You could be sued just under that grounds for blocking, banning, shadow banning people. No, just like they told Trump, you can't block nobody. What's the point, right? I mean, hey, good looking out for saying that. Because you just opened the door for something we just now seen take place. You can now be sued. And truthfully, that's what needs to happen. We need the people to show that we're done taking this crap. We're done being censored. Because you want to play that game and listen to our senators say people are influencing elections, this and that. All right, don't show a single debate on TV. Why? I'm going to tell you why. TV has influenced elections far more than anything on the internet. Why? Because they dictate who's on that stage. They dictate only this percentage of the popular vote can be on the debate. Not everybody that's running. Only these select few. And when a certain person, anybody that remembers back when Ron Paul, he actually reached that number, and what did they do? They increased the number. So they didn't have to allow him on stage. I'm not a big fan of Ron Paul, but it's an example. That is influencing an election. That is controlling a narrative instead of giving everybody a equal right to be on that stage. If they are running, they have a right to be on that stage. So I don't ever want to hear a politician say fake news, they're influencing the election, when our network TV has been doing it for decades. So you want to call the pot and the kettle black? Let's put it all the way out there. You know, it's time that people grow up. Seriously, a lot of people in this world need to grow up. Quit being triggered by words. Why are you giving another person power over you? Why are you giving a word power over you? I don't give nobody power. Well, I just said this word and you're going flying off the handle. You're going all ape shit. So apparently, you've given that word power over you because I can manipulate you, control you, set you off. That is called control. I can force you to do something that you might regret. Because now I know what buttons to push. You know, and it kills me. It does. This is 2018. In fact, we're almost halfway through this year. And we're still seeing how words have affect people. We're still seeing racism when it shouldn't exist, sexism when it shouldn't exist. We're seeing the push of diversity instead of equality. Everybody should be treated equal. I don't care who or what you are. But yet we have these double standards. Like every social media is a double standard. Oh, we don't like what you say, so we're going to suppress you, censor you, shadow ban you, deem you unsafe, terminate your account. Oh, I'm a state official. I'm a U.S. senator. I'm a federal employee. The laws that govern the citizen doesn't apply to me. No, there's no two sets of laws. There's this one law, and it applies to every citizen of the United States. Yes, a politician is a citizen. That police officer is a citizen. That judge, that lawyer, that state representative, that union official, whatever label you want to use, that they think separates them from being a citizen, a law-abiding citizen. Oh, we're rich. Therefore, your laws don't apply to us. We're above the peasants. Yes, I said it. Because the fact is, we do still live in a caste system. We still have classes. We just call it different things. We've changed the names of the labels, but it's still the same. We haven't learned the mistakes throughout history. We haven't learned the fault why Rome fell. But yet, our system is so, but you see so many of the similarities, so many of the likeness, the basis of Rome. And nice to see you, Pam. I haven't seen you in a while. Nothing's changed. Why doesn't things change? Well, we drove censorship in, controlling what can be said, the narratives, saying, oh, that can't be said, even though that what's being said is actually truthful, factful. It can't be said. So let's remove that from the internet, from all these platforms. You know what that's called? That is called book burning. That's called removing history. That's called dictatorship. That's not what this country was founded on. That's not what this country is about. That's why this country, in so many ways, is hated by so many others, because we all have freedom. We all are supposed to be equal. We might not agree with some things. There's plenty out there that doesn't agree with homosexuality, but they have every right that you have as a straight person. The Constitution is quite black and white. You know, freedom of speech is quite black and white. You have the freedom to express yourself, your opinions and views without persecution. I'd like to see a lot of things go that used to happen in the 90s and 80s when these so-called news organizations reported on stuff, and if they would slander somebody or report it wrong, they would be liable for defamation of character lawsuits. We need to see more of that. We need to see them being reined in. Yes, I know. We can't afford it. It's too expensive to fight them in court. They just bankrupt us. Oh, I get it. Trust me. And next next week, I'm going to do a couple of videos on our legal system. In fact, next week, I think I'll just do a whole week on broken systems. And guess what? We're going to find that censorship falls into the broken system category. It's ridiculous in the time and the age we live in. But there is core root problems. We can point out the things that's led to many of these things. The youth. Why does so many not get it? Why so many easily offended trigger? Why so many people don't understand and know the Constitution? Well, let's look where they were educated at. Look at the Common Core systems. The removing of certain things from the history books because it's not it's a blemish on what America stands for today. Bullshit. America wouldn't be what it is, and that's all the good and bad, if it wasn't for those things in history. We need to remove these monuments. Guys, that's a form of censorship too, because it depicts racism. It depicts things that we're no longer about. No, they're reminders of history, reminders that we do not ever want to repeat. They should never be removed. They should be taught. That's the problem. Our youth and children aren't getting the proper education. They're not being taught the core values of what America is, its founding, its principles. Instead, they're being force-fed politics, transgenderism, in many cases, hate. Diversity. Then they go into colleges, and some of our prominent free speech colleges that used to represent free speech. Now, if you voice your opinion and views, you're kicked out of college, or because somebody feels you might be you're racist. I said feel. You are suspended and kicked out of college, all because somebody felt that you were. Didn't hear you say anything. You never said anything, but they feel that you are. I seen that. You know what it reminded me? It reminded me of a field trip. I think it was out in Colorado. A couple native boys went to the school. They were on this field trip. They showed up late, and a few of the people, kids, a couple of parents were like, I got a bad feeling about those two. You need to remove them. You guys remember that? So they were removed from their school field trip because of feeling. Because they looked out of place. What? Since when are we judging people so much? What's the word I'm looking for? There's a proper term for it. The FBI does. Why are we profiling someone based on their looks? Wow. I mean, I can imagine. I wear a leather jacket from time to time, boots from time to time, jeans. I always wear jeans. And when I'm wearing a cutoff shirt like this, they see my tats. First thing, especially when my hair's out long, first thing they, oh, biker. I actually like riding bikes, but I haven't ridden a bike in years. Don't drive around in a Harley or a Yamaha or a Goldwing, but yet, because I got tats, a little bit bigger. So, yeah, especially when I got the goatee out and the long hair. Oh, you're a biker. What? No. See, somebody just profiled me and they were wrong. Or somebody here says, "Oh, you're not Christian." I've heard you say you're not Christian. You're right. I have said that. Said I'm spiritual. They don't know me. They don't know my past. They actually don't know I'm a preacher's son. They don't know that I was born, raised, saved, and baptized in a Baptist church. Southern Baptist church at that. They also don't know I sat there and listened to the fire and brimstone preaches, the bashing of Catholics, the bashings of homosexuals, the bashings of other religions. And it didn't feel right. We shouldn't be judging people based on those things. Not by what I'm reading in the scripture, not what I'm led to believe. So I tried other dominations. Methodist, Pentecostal, evangelicals, Catholic, Catholicism. Tried them all. Would hear pretty much the same thing. You know, not judging them because there is truth in the Bible. The Bible's rich of truth. But I can find a lot of truth in Buddhism, a spiritual connection to that as well. Does it mean it's right? Does it mean it's wrong? No. But a part of me sees things I can take from that to better myself, better my connection with God. I remember one day I sat down with this Native American. And I don't know how it came up, but it came up. Religion came up. Seeing that I was reading the Bible. He asked, well, what do you believe? I kind of told him, well, that's pretty much what I told you guys right now. And he says, well, what do you think about our religion? I told him, I don't judge any religion. There's a connection there. I mean, he goes, let me tell you something. Here's what we believe. There's many faces and many names of God. But in the end, we all worship the same God, no matter what we call him. And that stuck with me. It stuck with me to this day. Makes sense. Who am I to judge somebody else's belief or practice? Who am I to judge somebody else's opinions and views? Because who knows? When it comes to the religion debate, there's no debate at all. None of us will know until the day we die and meet our Maker. Then we'll know the truth. Now, I don't like getting into the spiritual aspects of things because, quite frankly, some of our problems have stemmed from that. It stemmed from those very preachers preaching the hate. And that's what it is. When you should be preaching love. You shouldn't be bashing the Catholics, the homosexuals, any of them, or any other different belief. Because what if you're wrong? What if your concept and everything you've been taught is wrong? Bet you didn't question that part, because why should you? It's my faith. But how many people were brought up and raised and told and showed no other way? You're not to question anything else. I can only tell you what I've experienced. Some people, I firmly believe they're right where they need to be. But only those people can answer that question for you. You know, because religion gets tossed up so much when it comes to freedom of speech or freedom of religion or equality. We forget those things because it's not of your belief system. You say that person don't have a right to talk about their belief. Ah, that's where you're very, very wrong. That's actually where I would recommend you study your history. Study the history of your domination. It'll come to a point where all of you, unless you're Catholic, will come to the same conclusion. Unless you're Catholic, Quaker. And that's why so many of our forefathers came to this country to flee the persecution of the Catholic Church. Most of all these dominations we know today became then from our forefathers breaking away from the Catholic Church. But yet we want to sit here and argue who's right or wrong. We want to sit here and say you don't have a right to have your opinions and beliefs and express them on this platform. You know, sometimes this is gonna piss some people off. Sometimes I think the atheists got it made because they're always questioning things. They're not taking anything at face value. They're making people question. Some of the greatest movements throughout history were started by atheists. Atheists that made people question. That questioned the norm of the day, the status quo. That would question religion in all its forms. That would even question science. There is some of our problem. We've forgotten how to question. We have been so programmed never to question anything. Take everything at face value. You know, study history. Study Grecian history. The days of the philosophers and the theologians. How many great things came from that? Some of the things we still see present day. Where are all the philosophers at? Those that dare to question. those that dare to be bold and bring new ideas, new thoughts, new theories. Where are you at? I see them every day. They're the ones being censored. They're the ones being bullied. They're the ones that are having their stuff suppressed and buried in analytics so nobody sees their stuff. People ask me, why do you listen to such and such? Why not? I might not agree with the person, what they're saying, but I'm learning. It's allowing me to question things. Why don't I agree with them? Huh, good. Like I said, I get push notifications. I know you can't. Actually, I think I can let you see my whole screen here. Give me a second. Yeah, entire screen. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gotta close this out though. Just make sure it's sharing right. This is what I talk about push notifications, guys. Since right now, we can't share content from Breaking 911. You should go over here, and I'm not sure if I go over here, everything's gonna freeze up, so. Now, I don't know how your guys' computers work. Mine, since a bunch of changes about 3 months ago, when you go onto a website, it'll ask you, do you want to allow notifications? Because I've got my push notifications settings turned on in Chrome and on Firefox, so I know it works for there, and it works on what's the new Explorer something, Microsoft Edge. It works on there because I just programmed my dad's laptop. But that way, you're getting the notifications and not having to rely on Twitter because they want to suspend someone's account. So you don't, we should never have to create backups and alternative accounts. Yep, I'm in the doghouse on Twitter. You guys see that? 2 hours ago, June 11th. Oh, 5 minutes ago, finally, a fresh feed. Oh, 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago. How long before I get 52 minutes ago? 46 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 10 hours ago, 23 minutes ago. See, guys, this is a form of censorship. This is a form of they don't like what I'm talking about, what I've been sharing, so we're going to mess with my feed. 5 seconds ago. What the hell, right? This is ridiculous. Burying people's content. 8 new tweets 11 hours ago. 20 seconds ago. Oh, the fourth. 4 hours ago. Happens every time I talk about certain subjects and share it here. You know, it becomes ridiculous. Ridiculous enough, I don't even want to be on here right now. Uh-oh. All right, I'm reconnected. Everything froze up. Imagine that. That's why it's gotten to the point where. And yeah, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys before I wrap this stream down. Here's something for you guys to think about. You guys noticed, for those that caught it yesterday when YouTube went down, and the Monkeys page and the 500 Air, well, they were updating their platform. Now, what do you see under my channel? Oh, that's right, paid membership. Now, this is something you've heard me talk about in the past, that back when they came out with their YouTube TV, which wasn't called that when they first came out with it, but I kind of knew they'd have to change the name. Because some other channel has that name. But how long before we have to become premium members to do podcasts, live streams, and upload videos, listen to music? This is the next trend in things. So they can control the content, control the narrative, choose who they allow to publish, post. They haven't announced it. I'm not saying they will do it. Theoretically, this is what I see happening by this time next year on a lot of these platforms. We'll have to pay to play. There's a reason. Most of you already know the reason why I don't. Monetize this channel. And I'm never going to. So we'll get that straight now. I don't monetize this channel for a huge reason. If I choose to monetize it, then I will be more censored in what I can say, what I can do. I can't freely express myself. They're already playing that game. And it's not a new game. Some of my issues have been with GAB. I mean, yes, I like how they did it with the crowdsourcing, crowdfunding. And maybe in time they will open their whole platform up to where you don't have to be a paid member or a premium member to do live streams. Or then again, they might keep it this way. But for me, that's was one of the big turnoffs on Gab. I do long videos. I do live streams. So therefore, I've had not much use for Gab. I mean, other than sharing it like that. They did change the upload file size limit to 500 megabytes, which is cool. I can get over half of my videos I can upload here now. but I'm not a premium member. I'm not a sponsored member, so it doesn't get the views. Some people say, "Oh, that's not censorship." In a way, it is. It's not showing it to everybody, letting everybody see it, putting it in everybody's feeds. Because it's on us. It should be on us to choose what we have, what the content we want. It should never be dictated to us. As you guys can see, even Minds has it. I haven't heard of anybody having their stuff rejected or reported, but it's there. Why? Because they have to deal with people that pay to advertise on their platforms. They have to deal with Google search or not be recognized on Google search. So you got to spread the message by word of mouth, which we've seen the power of the word of mouth. You want to know why they want censorship on the media platforms, social media platforms, why they want to keep screaming the Russians influenced elections? It has nothing to do with the Russians. That's just the boogeyman that they're creating so they don't have to admit the truth. They don't ever want a person to be able to use social media like Trump did and get elected in any position of office. But that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be to where that beggar on the street could become an elected official. With the power of social media, that beggar actually has a chance if somebody gives him a phone. And they fear that. They fear losing that very control that they have. So they'll try to control the narrative by, oh, we put you're using our share button, our share app, so therefore you got to adhere to our terms of service. Or you're using our AdSense program, so you got to adhere to all of our terms and services and ad policies. And when you read them, well, I violated it just repeatedly today for smoking a cigarette, for vulgar language, for talking about sensitive content. And YouTube is right. If I was if I allowed advertisements, and allowed their paid content on my site, then I would, when I do my videos and stuff, I would be responsible. I would have to abide by those policies set by Google, set by AdSense, set by YouTube's TOS. So therefore, they control how I can do things. They control what I can and can't say. Facebook does the same. Every platform. When we talk, they argue about, well, does Facebook, Google have, are they a monopoly? Very much so, yes they are. Google's the biggest monopoly out there right now because of the search engine programs. It's on every platform. If you want to show up in a search, it's ran through Google software, Bing software, but more people use the Google than they do Bing. And all that could be stopped. Simple. By our congressmen, our Supreme Court, putting these corporations in check and telling them, you have to abide by the Constitution. and the Bill of Rights. You have to honor everybody's rights. But they don't. Instead, they misled everybody 4 or 5 years ago with the ruling on how much people could contribute in donations, how much corporations and businesses could contribute to a campaign. And their ruling was simple. And most people didn't even understand the impact, even though we had 4 justices explain it in common sense layman terms what this was going to lead to. And this is what it's led to. That a corporation is not a U.S. citizen. It is made up of multiple U.S. citizens. Therefore, a corporation can donate, contribute as much as they would so choose to a campaign fund because they are not a U.S. citizen. A single individual. It is a multiple individual, so therefore the Constitution does not apply to them. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing today. Nobody took heed to the justices' warnings about this. It was one of the biggest messed up rulings and failure of the Supreme Court to date. And of course, we can go down the conspiracy road. Mysteriously, the Supreme Justice dies at a resort of sorts. I don't think it was a resort. I can't remember what it was. Something along those lines. It's where Dick Cheney had his Hutton accident. Very same place. He died. And instead of the constitutional law being followed with a Supreme Court justice dying and his body being brought back to D.C. for a federal autopsy. Oh, nope, he was cremated. No autopsy done. Other than the coroners. Here, we need to cremate the body. But, that would be a conspiracy theory. Yes, I know. That's a rabbit hole people can go down. It's interesting. But he was the biggest advocate and opposer to that law. Wrote many articles about it. Why and how this would affect that. We're seeing it play out today. The corporations don't care rat's ass about our rights because they don't have to. They're not bound by the Constitution, and that needs to change. They talk about influencing election. Social media had nothing to do with it. These corporations had a lot to do with it. Oh, let me bring up this other aspect. All the Saudi, Egypt, Russia, and all them that own corporations here on U.S. soil, guess what? They're allowed to donate and contribute to campaigns because they're a corporation here in the United States. So let's cut the crap. Let's put an end to this concept of censorship, BS, and all these politicians' BS rhetoric when it comes to we need to control social media because it's influencing elections. Well, in a sense, they are right because one man used social media to get elected and they didn't like it. Because now they realize, what many of us have realized, what even Anonymous realizes, the true power of the internet, the true reach of the internet, to where that common beggar could use a social media and get elected to office. That's what it's about. The fear of losing control. The fear of everyday citizens that understand what it's like becoming elected officials and taking their jobs because they don't know how to do their jobs. So let's indoctrinate the youth. Let's manipulate and brainwash the youth so they don't. So they only follow the policies and our philosophies. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're dealing with. So yes, I am happy and proud to find websites like this. Yes, it's still in development. It's still in its early stages, but it has so much potential. You know, just from the little talking I've done in chat and direct messages with Christina, the founder and CEO of this web platform. You know, listening to her enthusiasm and what she wants. This is the things that I believe in. These are the things that I like promoting. These are the things, like I said, when I say mom and pop, this is very much mom and pop because we confuse and we play with words a lot. Entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs that have goals like this are very much mom and pop entrepreneurs. They're people that want to create something to better their communities. You know, I'd rather promote this than any other social media platform out there right now. I'll promote mines for a bit. I've not had a problem with them yet. Gab, I really don't, like I said, don't have much use for because the way they do it. And like I said, I came across a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, an article where they had removed somebody because of an image and what they said. Yes, it was distasteful, but you're marketing yourself as a free speech platform. You're going to get that. And they caved in because they were going to lose their hosting provider, which means they would have lost their site. You know, too much interference with advertisers and businesses. We see it all the time. We see it. That's why so many people got so sick of things on the TV. That's why we see celebrities. Their movies are bombing because we got tired of them. We're tired of their hypocrisy, their holier than thou attitudes. And yes, before we end, I got one more gripe. No, I'm going to save that for a rambling of chaotic minds. I'll take that back. I do have a gripe with something that was said a couple weeks ago that I haven't had a chance to go on a rant about. We'll keep this to what it is: censorship, controlling the narrative, because that's what is happening. You know, I was glad to see a federal judge finally say what needs to be said. Now it's up to the people. It's up to us to take that ruling that he made in court and push back. But we know how this works. All of us do. What they will do, they'll come around and change their slogan, change their TOSs, because TOSs, it's your responsibility to check and stay updated on, because they can change at any time without notification. They're all worded that way on every platform. So it's going to force, when people start finally holding some of these social media accounts accountable, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to change and start honoring our rights, or they're going to change their terms of services, change their mission statements, and become one-sided. And like I said, then that opens another can of worms, because now when you do that, now you're profiling. In a sense, you're discriminating. Like I said, we have abilities to show these guys that we're done. We're tired. Some of it, yeah, it's cool to leave, but did you really leave? Come on. We all know this dirty little secret about Facebook. As of what, 2000, after 2009, you can't delete your account. I mean, it's in even here on YouTube. It's in their terms of services that just because they've kicked you off, banned you, suspended you, removed your videos, it's still archived, just in case of a criminal investigation. It's in the term of service. Yes, I have too much free time on my hand, I know. But somebody had to read the crap. You know, the bottom line is, it's when are we going to have enough? When are we going to start drawing those proverbial lines in the sand and just start letting people know enough's enough? You know, but how many people are addicted to these social media platforms? Kind of forgot to talk about the addiction part yesterday in the video I did. They just can't leave. You know, I'm still on Facebook. Not so much for this account, for Sons and Daughters of Liberty. I'm there for family and a few friends. Now, I got family that's in Brazil. That's where they're all at, because Google shut down Orkut. So they had to go somewhere, and they all came to Facebook. Everybody that was on Orkut now on Facebook. You know, for me to be able to chat with them and stay up to date on stuff with my cousins, my aunts and uncles, my grandma, I really have to use Facebook. And it seems every time I talk about certain subjects, I find myself on the naughty list and on timeout. You know, it used to be that they just suspend you so you couldn't access the group. Yeah, not no more. Now they get your whole account. You know, it's time that we really start pointing these things out. When they do something, put it out there. Let everybody know. Because eventually, it's going to start hurting their wallet. Eventually, people are going to start taking these corporations, CEOs of these social media platforms to court, thanks to this federal judge that made this ruling. In the end, guys, if somebody's talking about something you don't like, or it's something that you don't believe in, and walk away. Don't read it. Block the person. I didn't. That's yeah. I don't agree with the judge's ruling on the blocking part. You know, you should be able to, because you don't want to see that content. So therefore, you have a right to that. Or go into your settings and just hit the I don't want to not safe. I don't want to see things that are not safe for work. But unfortunately, it's not going to stop some of the other posts. It'll stop the images and stuff, but you're going to get that on a true free speech platform. It's just not meant for your label. It's meant for everybody. Remember that. Understand that. Become responsible adults. Responsible young adults. Responsible teenagers. Don't feed the trolls. Ignore them. Kill them with silence. They want attention. That's all they want. When you ignore them, don't bite into what they're saying, they go away. Quit feeding them. They're worse than psychic vamps. They're just feeding off your energy, trying to manipulate, trigger you. Give them no attention. They don't exist. You know? Truthfully, I would say that's probably the same philosophy. Maybe we should give Facebook, Twitter, and all these other social media outlets that are banning and shadow banning and blocking and suspending people because they don't like their views or opinions. Because then that would surely start to hurt their wallets, and that's all they care about is the money. They don't care about anything else. Which is why I enjoy meeting new people like Christina Tapp that creates platforms who does care about everybody, that cares about their freedoms. Those are the people you want to support. Those are the people you want to talk about. Not these other people like Zuckerberg, who doesn't deserve any time or attention because he's failed everybody. He's lost everybody's trust. He sold out a long time ago and is raked in the millions at your expense. But yeah, I think I've rambled on way too long. This ain't rambling of the chaotic mind, so I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. The next podcast I should do should be the one with Christina Taft, the CEO and founder of Worldie. So hope you guys all tune in for that. But with that said, you guys also know me. I feel led to come back on and express some things, I will. But I definitely wanted to jump back into the breach on social media and censorship once more after what I seen take place today. Because it needs to be talked about just as much as everything else we talk about. It needs to stay in the limelight, continually being brought to people's attention, showing what's actually going on, showing how, like I did, how Twitter's blocking us from the ability to share a post from breaking 911 because they suspended their main account. But like I said, I've rambled on long enough, going on 2 hours, which is I'm trying to break that habit, which I know it's never going to happen, but you guys get the point. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe and have fun.